Mic's on, it's good.
That's just making me laugh.
All right.
Cattywampus? Cattywampus?
Sure.
Cattywampus. That's another one.
Is that a kerfuffle too?
Not necessarily a kerfuffle, but it's when things go cattywampus. So your kerfuffle could go cattywampus. Or
This thing keeps kicking back, but I think my mic is on. That's the main thing.
Test, test, test. Councillor Parker, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Is it?
Just having some technical difficulties in chamber. One moment.
Test, test. All right. I think we're good. All right, welcome to Economic Standing Policy Committee for Wednesday, January the 19th. We'll start off with a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Higgin, Councillor Campbell,
Here.
Councillor Carlson,
Present.
Councillor Middleton Hope,
Present.
Councillor Palladino,
Present.
Councillor Parker,
Here.
Vice Chair Schmidt-Rempel,
present.
Acting Mayor Dodick,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Croson,
Present.
and Mayor Higgin.
Present.
All present. Thank you.
Thank you. Start off with the acknowledgement statement. City of Lethbridge acknowledges that we're gathered on the lands of the Blackfoot people of the Canadian Plains and pays respect to the Blackfoot people, past, present, and future, while recognizing and respecting their cultural heritage, beliefs, and relationships to the land. The City of Lethbridge is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. Next, we'll go to the adoption of the agenda, and I have a resolution from Vice Chair Schmidt-Rempel. Be it resolved that the minutes of the Economic Standing Policy Committee meeting held on Wednesday, November 24th, 2021 be approved, and the Mayor and City Clerk be authorized to sign the same. Councillor Schmidt-Rempel.
Call the question.
Question's been called. All in favor? Any opposed? So carries. Next, I have a motion from Vice Chair Schmidt-Rempel, adoption of agenda. Be it resolved that the agenda of the Economic Standing Policy Committee meeting on January 19th, 2022 be adopted as presented. Vice Chair Schmidt-Rempel.
Call the question.
Question's been called. All in favor? Any opposed? So carries. Another person's doing a presentation. It's Abby Slovak. Okay. Next, we have a presentation on community economic and tourism vision, and I believe Ms. Slovak is presenting.
She is. If I may, though, Mayor Higgin, I just want to take the opportunity, since Ms. Slovak's recent appointment to General Manager of Opportunity Lethbridge, just acknowledge that for council and congratulate her for the success of her in this new role. I just would share that we are extremely excited about what Ms. Slovak brings to the table in terms of her level of experience and expertise, but more importantly, drive in terms of really focusing on aligning our strategies, goals, and objectives in and around council's new work plan and strategic vision for the community. And I firmly believe, and I know that's well thought of in terms of the organization's collective opinion, that there couldn't be anyone better in the role to really see some of these key initiatives through. So I just want to congratulate Ms. Slovak in terms of her new role as general manager. So with that, I'll pass it over to Ms. Slovak to walk through the presentation as she's leading this initiative on behalf of council. But I would just context this a little bit because I know a couple questions have come up directly to myself that the name of this particular initiative touches on the economic vision, which highlights tourism. And I would just share for members of SPC that that was part of as a result of an initiative underway for a tourism relief fund grant, that the part of the application process wanted to flag that tourism was in fact part of this. But it's not the only part. This is a collective vision exercise to include all stakeholders. There's a core group, but certainly it extends well beyond that to a number of all the relative stakeholders in the community. So with that, I'll pass it over to you, Ms. Slovak. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Trent, and thank you for those kind words. Are you folks able to see the slides before I get going here?
We'll pin it in that back room.
It's just a minute.
Technical difficulty again.
Okay, are we set?
On Teams, do you see Ms. Slovak on Teams?
Yes, we do. I do, at least.
Okay. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Again, thank you for having me today. My name is Abby Slovak. I'm the General Manager of Opportunity Lethbridge, and I'm here today to share some information on a new project that we are getting ready to deliver, and that is the Community Economic and Tourism Vision and Implementation Plan. Next slide, please. Okay, just a quick overview of what I will be touching on in my brief presentation. This is work that we believe is important to City Council, and we've heard that through our engagement with City Council to date, and that was confirmed yesterday in Council's new action plan, the Gateway to Opportunity. We timed this work to come on the coattails of that action plan, and we are now ready to proceed. We currently lack a unified vision for the community and region in relation to economic development and tourism. So that's our main focus here. We will be partnering with local groups and organizations that work in this space, including EDL Tourism Lethbridge, Exhibition Park, the Chamber, the county, and many others. We want to ensure that we have that regional view to deliver this project. We have contracted Honeycomb Solutions. That's Miss Susan Veras. She's on the call with us, and her team to help us. Susan is here and can provide additional information and also help answer any questions that SPC may have. This project will be delivered over 2 phases. First, the creation of the vision, and then the implementation plan. So right now we're chugging away on phase 1 of that, which will take us approximately 12 to 14 weeks, and we can fund that within our existing operating budget. So there is no funding ask. Next slide, please. Just to introduce Susan while she's here on the call, her team at Honeycomb has been working in this space for over 20 years. She was instrumental in the visioning and execution of the redevelopment of East Village and Calgary during her tenure with Calgary Municipal Land Corp. She has done extensive work with various organizations, including brand development, visioning, strategy development. She and her team worked with Opportunity Lethbridge last year to help us build our new business plan. She will be joined by Mr. Stephen Lund, who also has over 20 years of experience in envisioning, storytelling, graphic design, and brand strategy. So we're super happy to have Susan and her team here to help us with this work. Next slide, please. Okay, the key deliverable of this project is to create a storybook. This is going to be a vital document that articulates the city's economic and tourism vision, establishes a narrative framework for socializing and sharing the vision, and sets the stage for subsequent operational and communications initiatives geared toward bringing that vision to life. So this is really the creation of the song sheet that we want to create to make sure that we're really all singing from it in our efforts to move Lethbridge and the region forward. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this slide was developed before the release of Council's new action plan, but in reviewing Council's new action plan that was released yesterday, I believe the alignment is perhaps even stronger. This work will ensure that our community is striving toward economic prosperity, cultural vibrancy, health, diversity, quality design, and is supporting the region. Next slide, please. If a photo is really worth 1,000 words, I think these new photos, these next 2 photos really tell the story. This one was shared to me by Mr. Trevor Lewington from Economic Development Lethbridge, and I believe City Council has had an opportunity to see these previously, but really it speaks to our current state. So we have a whole bunch of organizations that are working in this space. They're marching forward on their goals, their priorities, their work plans, but we aren't really sure if we're all working together to make that chuck wagon move in the right direction and with speed. Next slide, please. So this is what we're really working to create here. So a vision that allows us to see and understand the direction, to work together, to collaborate, to understand roles and responsibilities, eliminate overlap, and really get that chuck wagon moving forward and moving with some speed. Next slide, please. So here are some of the key things that we're going to be doing in this project. So we're working to ensure that all partners are striving towards that shared vision. We want to ensure that the vision aligns with Council's vision and Council's new action plan. We want to clarify roles and responsibilities. We want to ensure that resources are being efficiently and effectively utilized. And we want to ensure that we're working together, sharing ideas, resources, and the charge to move Lethbridge forward. Next slide, please. So the scope here is summarized sort of in 4 pieces. The first is really getting everything ready. So that's the discovery, the document review, the stakeholder onboarding. Then we're going to be moving into a series of workshops and interviews where we're making sure that we're gathering all of the necessary information, ideas, work that's happening. And then we'll be working to take that and synthesize it into the formation of our storybook. And then finally, we'll be back for City Council endorsement of that storybook. Next slide, please. So this slide really shows our schedule. We're hoping to deliver the project over a 12 to 14 week duration. We've also got some updates built in to come back to SPC and provide information on how the project is going and how we're doing. And then finally, at the end, we'll be looking for a council endorsement on the storybook. Next slide, please. In looking at our budget, so phase one, we expect to be about $50,000, and we have funds within our existing operating budget through Opportunity Lethbridge to complete that. Right now, phase two, without having phase one completed, we don't really have a wholesome understanding of what will be involved in phase two. So at this time, we haven't secured budget for that, so that's yet to come and be determined. Next slide, please. So next steps here, following our council update today, we're going to be really working to kick this off with our partners. And I want to make sure that I highlight that really there are partners in this. And while this is being sort of led by the city through Opportunity Lethbridge, and, you know, we're sort of footing the bill for Honeycomb and their team to do this work, it's really just us helping facilitate the consolidation of what our partners are doing and the creation of that storybook. So we're going to be working really hard to kick this off with our partners. We've had some preliminary conversations to date, and we'll be ramping those up now. We're going to be back with some regular updates to Economic SPC, and then again, the final document will be presented for City Council endorsement. So that is all I have to say right now, but I'm happy to entertain any questions. And if Ms. Trent or Ms. Veras from Honeycomb would like to add, that would be great.
Yeah, thanks, Ms. Slovak. I would just offer to council one addition that I know is very clear in terms of the direction that Ms. Slovak is providing in terms of facilitating the respective stakeholders involved, which is comprehensive across the community. What was key in terms of the direction we're giving to Susan and the Honeycomb team is really to focus on actionable objectives as part of the storybook. So I would not want council or SPC to be misled in any way that the wording storybook should not be an indicator of a document that's going to sit on the shelf and collect dust, because all stakeholders were very sensitive about that. And I know certainly Ms. Veras is very mindful of that in terms of her approach with this. So I did want to just highlight that piece that I know Ms. Slovak has been very fussed with in terms of the direction that this takes, that it is truly something that is going to be progressed, is measured, it results in tactical objectives that shows the interface in and amongst all the key stakeholders, and in terms of action items, that everything that is identified in that storybook is something we can progress. So I just wanted to add that lens, but I certainly would welcome any additional feedback that Ms. Veras may want to add in terms of the approach.
Well, thank you, and good afternoon to council and committee members and all guests, and thank you for including me today. It's really been my pleasure. I've been working in Lethbridge with Abby and group really for the last year. I've gotten to know many of you, and I feel as though my job in the next 12 to 14 weeks is to really listen. While I have a very good understanding of the work, I believe the work that's happening in the community and region, I have a lot to learn. I will say this. Creating a powerful vision is a necessary tool for growth. I've seen it myself work very well with the East Village project, but also with the Cultural and Entertainment District, which is inclusive of the Calgary Stampede, but in other major cities and programs like Red Deer's Downtown Capstone program and others. And so creating this resonant vision, really, I think you are all to be applauded, because it's a brave move to create a vision. The rubber really hits the road in implementation, and I can speak directly to implementation and the effort that it takes, having lived 12 years in realizing a large vision here. So I would just really like to say thank you for including me in this conversation. I'm happy to be with you, and I'm looking forward to getting started.
Thank you, Ms. Slovak, Ms. Trent, and Ms. Veras. Appreciate that presentation. Do have questions. Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thanks for the presentation. And Susan, I just wanted to welcome you here, first of all. But just I wanted to get your take on your first impressions of taking on this challenge. What excites you about what's about to happen? What do we have here that's already in place? What do you see as as how we're going to move forward with everything? Kind of a broad
Thank you.
question.
Yeah, I'll do my best, Councillor, to answer that. Just to go back to my earlier comments, I think what I've been so impressed with from the city group in the last year is really the amount of ideation and cooperation that I've seen. There is no shortage of ideas or energies around how to grow your economy and how to grow your tourism sector. And I think the hardest part for me will be, how do I contain that enthusiasm and capture it in a way that actually, back to Director Trent's perspective, is an actionable item. So I'm also excited in the airport expansion. We spent a lot of time studying that last summer. I think it's heavily opportunistic, but also, the region generally. And admittedly, I spent more time studying, the city's ideas and concepts. And so to become familiar more with the regional viewpoint will be something that I need to work towards. But I think you have a wonderful opportunity here to set yourself apart. And I will say that jurisdictions like Edmonton, Calgary, Red Deer, everybody is aggressively now looking for investors, whether it's a land investor, a retailer, a tourism product. Everybody is competing really for the same amount or similar investors. And so to set yourself apart and then to be able to quickly action it is your opportunity. And if the energy that you've already shown me and the enthusiasm is going to be exampled in its implementation, then I think we have, we've got a winner here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next, Councillor Schmidt-Rempel.
Thank you. Congratulations, Ms. Slovak, on your appointment. Thank you, Ms. Trent, for your clarification at the start, and welcome, Ms. Veres. I do have a few questions, so I'll start, and then we'll see if anybody else wants to jump in. And this can go to any one of the three of you. Knowing that we don't have a strategic plan in place right now for Opportunity Lethbridge, does this study build on any other previous work from any of our community partners or anything else that the City of Lethbridge currently has in place?
Yeah, so I'll take a cut at that, Ms. Slovak, and I certainly welcome your additional comments. My perspective is that, from an Opportunity Lethbridge perspective, as you are likely aware, this is the amalgamation of real estate land development, downtown urban revitalization, and then ultimately the airport became inclusive of that. And what I would suggest is that there was a tremendous amount of good work that was happening within those three streams of work. And now, I think the focus for Ms. Slovak in crafting the draft, as you pointed out, and it certainly is a draft form of the strategic plan that I would share with members of SPC, that Ms. Veres actually supported that process in developing that draft that largely was prefaced behind the good work that was underway, but informing that with sort of larger vision for the community as we sort of understood it on a preliminary basis, informed by some of the good work that was happening with some of the other stakeholders of the community, such as EDL, Tourism Lethbridge, and a number of others, as well as some early indicators of where council was looking to take the community with respect to economic development. So I would characterize the current state of being draft form is a very deliberate intention by myself and Ms. Slovak and the Collective Opportunity Lethbridge team to say, given that Council has, at least on a preliminary basis, identified the need for that larger vision, that collective vision, we sort of got it to a point that we felt was representative enough so that we weren't operating blind, so to speak, that at the very minimum we were three streams of work together to some extent, and informing that with high-level views of where we think we're going directionally so that the work can continue with sort of a plan in mind to some extent, but wanted to allow for room and space to continue to modify and evolve that plan that was informed by this vision study that Ms. Veres and team are going to be supporting us with. So I guess we're trying to leave it open to evolve it and be well informed with the larger strategy of things. But with that, I'll pass it to maybe Ms. Slovak to add any additional comments or thoughts.
No, thank you, Ms. Trent. I think you really captured it. For me, it's just about trying to understand the work that's going to come out of this, what the priorities are going to be, and then if we need to make adjustments to that business plan, strategic plan, we can absolutely do that and ensure that we're delivering, what we want in order to deliver council's new action plan for sure.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Is there anybody else? Okay. In follow-up to this, and I guess this would come to you, Ms. Veras, how are the volunteer community groups, business leaders, those from the boards of EDL, Tourism Lethbridge, any of the other partners that are going to be engaged in the process, how will those groups be engaged, given that they do develop their own strategies, visions, and master plans in relation to what our strategic plan, or I guess our action plan is City Council, because we don't want to undermine the good work that they're doing within their own within their own groups. How are they going to be engaged to still be able to move forward on their own, but integrated into this?
Excellent question, Councillor Schmidt-Redwell. Thank you. So there is a lot of coordination that has to take place. There has been, to your point, a lot of good work that has been done and is ongoing. This is really about the synthesis of those shared plans, visions, if you will, aspirations and objectives. So creating the synthesis of all of that will be, our work, but essentially through stakeholder mapping that we will work with the city on, through reaching out to membership groups, some of which you've mentioned, whether that is through workshops directly and asking their participation, or if it's through surveys or other related communication tactics. We will be, and then through our own discovery, examining all of that information. Our job is to synthesize it and bring forward the recommendations of achievable ideas and opportunities, how planned investment principles can come forward based on all of that synthesis, and really what strategic partnerships might be obvious. I will say, though, in most vision work that I have done, it is the championship of the vision that is really it is a necessary requirement. And so it will be very important for all, whether it's the Chamber, Economic Development, the tourism, all of our colleagues, to own it and champion it.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
You're still good. You're the only one in there. If you wanna keep-
Okay, the only one with any questions. Sure. Just leading into that, which regional partners do you have in mind that you might be approaching to talk about this? Because we certainly want to keep our regional partners in mind when we're looking at economic development for the city.
Is that a question to me or to Ms. Trent?
Ms. Trent, or either one of you, actually. Yep.
So I'll actually, Ms. Veras, if you want to lead in, because I know you and I have had a lot of discussion around this, so feel free to kind of give your lens on it, at least in terms of your initial approach, and then I can follow up with any additional comment in terms of subsequent phases.
Yeah, and I will preface this by saying if I omit somebody, it's not because I am choosing to omit them; it's because I'm still learning. But obviously, the county is an important stakeholder, and we'll want to understand very much, their future-looking vision or plans, if you will. There would be other regional, I would say, tourism perspectives that would be important. And also business perspectives broadly in the region. So whether that's captured through Chamber, I'm not quite clear yet, but for certain those three would be among my interests. There are others I know, and particularly in the agricultural environment. And so I don't mean to exclude anybody. I just don't have the proper nomenclatures just yet.
Yeah,
and I would just, apologies.
No, go ahead, Ms. Trent.
I was just going to add that in terms of the early engagement, and I would characterize in terms of the strategy we've discussed with Ms. Veras is to really approach this in a manner that says, we're not trying to boil the ocean right out of the gate. We've sort of identified some core stakeholders, but certainly would look to evolve the discussions. And I think Ms. Veras certainly touched on a few manners and mediums in which she could look to do so with support from her team. So I think a lot of the early engagement has been informed by what we've shared in terms of what we view as current priorities for the community. We continue to hear the airport and the surrounding land is of interest. We continue to hear the agri-food hub and creating, Canada's premier food corridor in the region is important. So I would just suggest that early engagement in some of the stakeholders that Ms. Veras touched on. I have been informed by what we've come to understand based on preliminary discussions with stakeholders as being priorities. So, but I would share that, you know, we certainly are looking to continue to evolve and engage as the discussions ensue and continue.
If I could just add on to that, sorry, one of the first activities that we're going to be working towards is to create a stakeholder map. So we're going to be looking at identifying who are all the different stakeholders that are involved, and then what particularly will be their role. What type of engagement should we be doing with them? So do we need them to sit with us at a workshop or virtually? Is that through a one-on-one interview? Are they to be filling out a survey? So we're going to be going through and identifying all of those different stakeholders, and then working towards how much and in which ways they should be involved.
Good. Thank you very much. Am I good for one more?
Actually, we'll hop over to Council Midland Hope, and then we'll pop back. Council Midland Hope? You're
I'm riveted. I cede to Councillor Schmidt-Rempel first.
Okay, Councillor Schmidt-Rempel.
All right. And I guess, yeah, sort of I'll wrap it up and let other people ask questions. How is this report and the timing of the completion around this going to impact the business plan processes for our other community organizations? Again, knowing that they are putting together their own strategies, plans, but that they're also going to be in front of the city's finance committee in November, and they need to have all of that in line for us so that we can understand the directions that they're headed. Could you just maybe talk a little bit to that?
I'll speak to that one. Ms. Slovak and I discussed, and Ms. Slovak, please feel free to chime in if I haven't captured this appropriately. But what I would share is one of the things that we identified internally is the need to create a schedule. And as part of some early indications of key stakeholders, and I'll speak to a meeting that I had the privilege of attending with Mr. Workington from Exhibition Park and Ms. Crane from Tourism Lethbridge, that we talked about the importance of that understanding and the various timelines and priorities of these various stakeholders, and ensuring that the plan and timeline that we put together met their needs as well. And so one of the action items coming out of that discussion was that Ms. Veras was going to do some preliminary legwork with the respective stakeholders to understand their timing and ensure that the schedule met the needs of all key stakeholders and expected additional stakeholders.
Good, thank you very much.
Councillor Middleton Hope.
Thank you, and I just open this question up to Ms. Trent and whomever. In terms of the strategy, I've reviewed the presentation, and I don't see anything specifically in there in regards to marketing and a marketing strategy moving forward. Is that too micro, or does that still stay at the macro level? And I just missed it.
Ms. Slovak, I know you're very close to this one with respect to the new role within your department, so I'll let you speak to this one.
Thank you, Ms. Trent. So I think we would be looking towards the implementation plan. So first we would be creating the strategy. We may have some marketing initiatives on trying to communicate that storybook and getting that out there. But I think, you know, marketing is going to be a bigger part of phase 2, which would be the implementation of this plan. And we just hired a new resource here in Opportunity Lethbridge, a marketing coordinator, who will be able to help us work towards that and achieve the implementation plan.
Thank you for that. And Ms. Veras, if you have any influence over the city of Calgary in terms of building our new hockey arena, please do so.
I can tell you how successful I've been thus far, right? Not very.
Being an Edmonton fan, that's okay. Keep being unsuccessful with that project. Thank you very much. I don't see any other questions in the queue. Oh, Councillor Campbell.
I just have one really bizarre, off-the-wall question, probably, but and maybe I'm not asking the right committee right now, but it's just been in my mind. Is there any opportunity in terms of attracting? Because I think of Fort Macleod and all of the movie productions that have been attracted to that town and that area. Is there a segment of us kind of creating an opportunity for filmmakers to come to Lethbridge because of all of our, for many, many reasons, landscape, areas, the sunrise, the sunshine, all those sorts of things that, you know, a new airport, yeah. But I mean, just all those things, I mean, it may be far-fetched, but I don't think it is at the same time, because we have attracted some movies, but I wonder if we can go to that extra step. Is that ever in the Ballywick? I'll throw that out there.
If I could maybe take a stab at that
Sure.
one. I mean, the importance of having a resonant vision is that people see themselves in the vision. They can see themselves benefiting and contributing to the vision. So as you describe about a sector, call it the movie sector or production sector, yes, drafting out of the vision and through marketing or communication plans or subsequent implementation programs, there would be and could be engagement with that sector. I think the first thing is to describe the vision, and as people come to understand it, learn it, and see themselves in it, that becomes our opportunity. Certainly that was the opportunity in East Village when we envisioned East Village. We just dreamt up how we thought this community could look in 20 or 40 years. And then the more we socialized the vision, the more it got adopted, and the more people that came, the more organizations came to the vision because they believed in it and wanted to be part of it. So I think you're absolutely correct. There will be an opportunity later to extend the vision to other sectors.
Yeah, and if I just may add as well, Councillor Campbell, I think one of the pieces that we're really focused on, and it goes back to a comment that Ms. Veras made at the beginning, which is there's a lot of great ideas and we want to capture all of them. But we also want to make sure we're dialing in and really focusing. And what I would say is that as a collective group, including some of our key partners in this, which is key stakeholders in the community, is that we want to get really clear in terms of the fact that this is a long game. And that we really want to dial into what are our core competencies, what's our niche, where's the magic, and really try to dial in terms of the long game in pursuit of that, of what really we want to be. What's that larger long game plan in terms of where we want to be? In and amongst all that, where and when we can be creative in terms of interim land use or seeking and taking advantage of opportunities as they come to monetize things in a meaningful way in the community. We've certainly provided that direction that we don't want to leave any stone unturned. But at the same time, I think we're very mindful in terms of this strategy of the importance of really what's the end game and always maintaining that level of focus on what it is we want to win at and ensuring that that's really at the top of the priority list in terms of the action plan.
Yeah, thanks. I can show you my audition tape later.
And another good part to think about too, Councillor Campbell, is that obviously throughout all this filming and stuff, if it's in Fort Macleod or any other surrounding area, the economic impact to our community is huge too, with restaurants and hotels and stuff too.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'd like to bring them in here, but we're still seeing some of that too, which is positive for that tourism side. Seeing no further questions, I will first of all, thank the presenters. Thank you very much to Ms. Slovak, Ms. Trent, and Ms. Veras. Appreciate that. And again, congratulations, Ms. Slovak, on your new role. We're looking forward to seeing more of your presentations in the future, so thank you very much. I do have a resolution from Councillor Jen Schmidt-Rempel, Community Economic and Tourism Vision and Implementation Plan. Be it resolved that the Economic Standing Policy Committee receive the presentation and report as information. Councillor Schmidt-Rempel.
Thank you very much. I'll just reiterate how important it is for us to engage our community, regional partners, and stakeholders. As we indicated yesterday in our action plan, establishing a regional economic development and tourism strategy is important. And like Ms. Trent said, this is a long game, and we need to get some work done. So with that, I will call the question.
The question's been called. All in favor? Any opposed? So carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, now my schedule dropped. Next, we have a submission from Mike Fox, who is here to answer any questions. Lethbridge Hurricanes 2021 annual payment deferral. I don't know if you've got a presentation or any comments, or did you want to read the resolution and just answer any questions if they come up? I'm not sure if you have anything to present.
Through the chair, I don't have anything to present. I think the letter speaks very clearly to the need and just the difficult times being faced by most hockey teams, and the Hurricanes are in the same boat.
Okay, I'll read the resolution here from Councillor Mark Campbell. Be it resolved, the Economic Standing Policy Committee recommend that City Council approve the amendment of the Lethbridge Hurricanes Hockey Club's 2021 annual contribution of $166,667 set out in the lease contract between the City of Lethbridge and the Lethbridge Hurricanes Hockey Club to 2031, adding 1 year to the lease to include the 2021 payments. So I'll open it up for any questions first. I do have one question. I noticed that a lot of time, of course, in the community is going to be, it's not a canceled, but it's actually a deferral. Can you please speak a little bit to that, Mr. Fox?
Yeah, through the chair, the Hurricanes are not asking for this to be deleted, just deferred to another year. Just with the COVID situation, the restricted capacity has put a lot of strain on just the revenue in the NMAX Center. Also, no food or drink has been able to be purchased at the games lately either, and this is having added financial difficulty on it. The Hurricanes in their letter do say that they are in good financial standing and continue to be, and we continue to work with the Hurricanes and AHS to make sure that we can try and get as many participants to attend the games to make the most out of this year. But as most arenas and professional organizations, they are having difficulties through this COVID time.
Thank you. I do have questions. Councillor Carlson.
Thank you, Mayor Higgin. Just verbiage is kind of important. Right now, the resolution almost reads like annually we defer this payment. I think it's a deferment of the 2021 annual payment rather than an annual deferment.
Just looking through this here now. So, Ryan, did you capture that?
And I don't know that anything needs to be changed. Just want to make sure the public knows that this is not an annual deferral. This is a deferral of the annual payment.
So
just in the title of the word.
If we just removed annual and we had the club's 2021 contribution of 167 set out in the lease, so not annual, so, but does it not speak to that already though? Because if it is an annual contribution, just for 1 year, right? Annual.
Mayor Higgin, it was only in the title. Just if someone was reading the agenda, it would look like this is the 2021 annual deferral.
Oh, thank you. I do see that now. You're right. That would that could present a concern. So yes, the 2021 payment deferral, not annual. To remove the word annual is probably okay. Then would that work for you?
I didn't need anything changed. I just wanted to point out that this is a one-time deferral of the 2021 payment, not that we annually defer this payment.
Correct. Okay. Thank you. With that, any other questions? All right, seeing no questions, Councillor Campbell.
Yeah, I think this is kind of knowing that the Lethbridge Hurricanes are an integral part of the community. They are a not-for-profit organization. They bring a lot of joy and happiness to the city sometimes. But no, they are really part of what Lethbridge is, and we all know the kind of hardships that professional teams are having, not only in Lethbridge but around the world. So this is something that we can do because there's no impact to us. They're still paying it back just a little later. So I would ask my colleagues to accept the recommendation. Call the question.
Question's been called. All in favor? Any opposed? So carries. That's it. With that, we have come to adjournment, and the Economic Standing Policy Committee is adjourned.